Hello and welcome back to my Dandelion Diaries. I have probably the video I am the most excited to make for you guys, and that is the Common Planner A5 setup. And it's this beautiful, gorgeous, floppy, chunky baby right here. I'm so excited to freaking set this up. I will be using a whole bunch of different supplies today. They're going to be kind of random in a way, but I'll try to link as many things as I can. If I forget to link it, just ask me, send me DM, Instagram, comment down below, whatever. I will respond to you as fast as I can. Also, saying this now, this is going to be a very long video because I'm setting up the planner itself, and then I'm also going to be setting up the booklet that I'm pairing with the planner, and I plan on using this booklet as like my spending tracker. I've gotten a few questions on the one that I did for 2023, and since I had already started using it, I didn't feel comfortable sharing that. But for 2024, obviously it hasn't started yet, so I will definitely share how I'm going to set this up with you guys. And yeah, with that, I'm just going to kind of zoom in and start at the front cover and work my way through. So starting off, I'm actually not going to decorate the front of this cover, and that is because I really want to use this. And this is a clear cover by Lauren Phelps Designs, and she collabed with Nib and Fleur, and it has this gorgeous like gold foiling. I do have a ring light on right now just because it's dark outside while I'm filming, so it's kind of hard to see this, I think, on camera, but it has this beautiful like floral design over here, a moon with some stars, and then like almost like a mountainscape that's really just lines going this way. I think this is absolutely gorgeous. I did pick these up with her super sale, and I think I paid like $5 for it, and it fits this big boy. So we're going to putting this on last, but I just wanted to explain that's why I'm not going to be decorating the very front cover of this. So for the opening pages here, I really went back and forth on what I think I wanted to do. And I'm just going to preface this now. I did all of the thought process beforehand making this video, because if y'all were here for part of the thought process, the whole thought process, the whole 9 yards, you'd probably be here for a whole day. And nobody has time to watch a whole day's worth of me talking about planners. Anyways, but I'm thinking what I want to do is kind of like a night and day kind of thing. So I really want to use this journaling card from Magic of I. It came with my planner, and I really love the foiling on this, and I really love that it has all of the moon phases, or at least the new moons and the full moons for 2024, which is something that I care about and I like to track. So I'm thinking I will put black washi tape from the washi tape shop underneath it, and then I'll do the white on this side because I want to use this adorable pocket from the Coffee Monsters Co. And I have it stuffed with stuff, so let me take that out. So I'm thinking, you know, white background here and then black background here. It's kind of like a night and day kind of situation. And I think I'm still going to go with it. And the theme I'm kind of going with this year is like black and gold. Just because I find it's really neutral for me, and I can add as much color in throughout the year as I like, because I find that when I decorate a planner with either too much color in the beginning or not enough color, it just kind of ruins it for me. Like last year I did a lot of pastels, which I loved, but I think this year I want to stick to more like black and brown and neutral tones, but still keep it colorful in my own way. Anyways, let's go ahead and washi this up. So the question I'm facing now is, do I want to do diagonal stripes, or do I want to do it just straight up and down? I feel like diagonal is more fun. I think I'm going to do diagonal. And the beauty of this washi tape from the washi tape shop is it has backing, so I can literally make it almost an exact cut every time if I want to. Bear with me as I make some final choices here. I'm going to wait to do the corner, and I'm going to just start with putting one in the middle. And I'm going to find my longest strip here, which is this one. And I don't know if I'm going to show this whole process on camera just because it can take a hot minute and my camera battery and my storage space and all that kind of stuff does go into play when I make these videos. So if I cut something out, it's not because I didn't want to show you, it's because I literally don't have the actual equipment, capacity, whatever, to give the entire length of the process. I hope that makes sense. And that is not where that is supposed to go. Please be merciful. Oh, thank God. Right. This is where this is supposed to go. So cute. Okay, this was the next longest one. Okay, so you've seen how I've done kind of like half of this now. I love this. I'm going to go ahead and finish the other half off camera, and then I'll be back and I'll show you guys how I'm going to do the edges. Okay, so I finished laying everything down in terms of the like base here. I do have this corner and this corner still to do, but I wanted to show you how I kind of trim the edges here. I have shown it in, I think, almost every setup video at this point, but I will show again just in case you haven't seen those or you don't really care about those types of planners, which is totally fine. All I'm going to do here is basically turn this way and cut along the edge, but I'm going to save all of these pieces on the back of my arm because I'm probably going to use whatever scrap to fill in these tiny corners versus having to cut a whole new sheet of washi tape. Okay, and then to get the last little bit here, my hand looks hilarious. I'm going to take a small cutter. You could even use the back of the scissors if you want to cut it. I just know this washi tape is a little thicker, so I'm just going to use the cutter to kind of cut down the crease here. I'm only going to do it very, very light-handed, and then if I need to go back in, I can cut again, but my only intention is to cut through the tape, not to cut through the paper on the other side. And I'm going to do this very slowly because the washi tape shop's washi tape can be really, really sticky. Which, as you can see, it peeled up a little bit right there, but it's not super bad. And it's not super big of a deal to me because I am going to be covering up this page as well. But I still want to try to go as slow as I can because I don't want to have too many like weak spots in the page as well. And I'm not going to save these ones because the backing is sacrificed because of the way this tape is done. And now we're going to do the corners. So what I mean by this when I say I save the bits on my hand, because I bet you there's something on my hand that fits either of these corners and I don't have to cut a whole other piece. So I'm thinking This one honestly might be a perfect fit for the corner up here. Let's see. It's a little small on one side, so I'm going to use it down here. Excellent. And then I think for the corner up there, will this one work? Yeah, that's like almost the perfect width. But the feather's going the wrong way. Do I care? What about this one? I like this one better. Okay, yeah. Adhere that really good. Excellent. Ta-da! One washi is done. Exciting. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and toss everything that's on my hand now. And I am going to stick down this. I think that looks so cool. Okay, I'm sorry. I am going to use the tape runner that I got somewhere around here. Okay. And this does have info on the back, but I'm sacrificing the information for the information that I actually want. I do want to say if you're going to stick anything on top of washi tape, which I know I forgot to say in one of my setups, this does have almost a waxy coating to it, so just be mindful of what you're using to stick down with. Make sure it's permanent, and also, yeah, just check on it. If it's too thick for the page, it may lift up and you may have to re-tape it down or something. Also, I'm going to stand up to do this. I'm sitting down, but I need to get this straight, so if you see my head, I am so sorry. Ugh, I love that so much. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. So to keep this from flapping at me this whole time, I'm actually going to put a clip on it just to weigh it down while I do the washi tape for this side. I am going to do it, I think, in a other direction. So like I went diagonal this way, so I think I want to go diagonal this way for this side. Okay, I'm going to hold off on that clip for a second, just because it's too similar to the other one in design. One more. All right, now I'm going to cut all of the edges off. I do need to be a little bit more careful for this side since this is the paper side. With the cover side, I didn't have to worry so much about cutting through the cover because it's very obvious since the covers are really thick this year. They're not like paper, but this is paper, so I need to be extra careful, especially cutting around the edges, that I don't cut into the paper. Alrighty, the edges are a little janky, but it's okay. I'm going to cut the middle one here, and see, this is already lifting up, like I was saying about the tape, because of that waxy surface. Just make sure you're using a good tape, unlike me, or glue it down or something. But it is what it is. Okay, so now we have to figure out how to cover up the corners, which I think the piece I just rolled up is like perfect for one of them. Silly Daniel. All right, well, never mind. It's trash now. Anyways, I think I can use maybe this one for down here. I don't love that. What about this one? Can y'all see what I'm doing? Okay, I think I like this one. But since it's kind of awkward, I'm gonna just lift that up and cut straight so I don't cut the paper. Okay. And then we have one more up here. This one's kind of challenging. Maybe this way, but that's not even straight. Okay, I like this one, but I can't see, so I'm gonna turn this this way. So I don't know how adhesive-y or how sticky, adhesive-y, I don't know how sticky this pocket's going to be, but I think we'll be okay. It'll definitely serve its purpose. I think that's even. She's so cute, and look, it can hold a pack of sticky notes or some stickers. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so now we're done with the front. I know that was probably painstaking for you guys, but I'm going to move on into this page. So this page, I was really tempted to do just nothing with it and just glue them together because this is that awkward Flyleaf page, but I really wanted to do a quote. It's something I really like to do in my main planner that I use throughout the year because it's something I look back on and I reference and it makes me feel good in a way, like inspiring, I guess. And the quote that I chose this year was, "All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us." And it's actually said by Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, which is, it's in the book and it's in the movie, but it's by J.R. Tolkien, technically, I guess. But I love that saying, and it just, I don't know, it makes me appreciate the time that I have. And then on this side, I really wanted to do another vinyls collage of the random amount of vinyls that I have. So I'm going to do, I think, the vinyl collage first, and then I'm going to do the quotes page after, just because that's what I feel like doing. So I'm not going to use this one. This one I'm going to use a little bit later on in the back, but I do want to use this one from the Coffee Monsters Co. This one is from my shop. It's the main character energy in matte. I have a nameplate sticker. I've kind of played around with these already with how I want to lay them out, but I haven't set myself like completely on anything yet because I wanted to, I don't know, play around with it some more. And then I have a planner advisory. This one's also from my shop, and then a Neutrals Gray 2024. As you can see, I'm going for very grayscale things here. I think I like it. I think I like it. I like it. We're just going to say I like it. Okay, I'm going to start at the bottom. Okay. Oh, this one is from Sticky Club. It just says a vinyl sticker on the back, so I guess it's one of like their normal designs. I don't know. Also, I apologize for my fingers if they're orange. I ate a lot of spicy chips at lunch today and it turned my fingers orange. Okay, I'm going to wait to do this one in a second. Actually, no, I'll just do it now. I want to write my name in gold on this, and I have a, what is this? A Pen Touch gold permanent marker. It's a paint marker, and it's very thin tipped, which is what I really wanted it for. I got it off of Jet Pens. I'll try to link it if I can, but I love the color payoff on it. And here she is. Look, it's so shiny. Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, I'm gonna wait to stick it down though because it's wet and I don't want it to smudge the writing. So I'm gonna wait a minute on that, and I'm just gonna stick these top ones down. And I'm gonna flip the book around because I can't see that far away from myself. All right, I'm just going to gently lay this down, but I'm not going to press in the middle where I wrote, just around the edges, and then the rest of it will adhere naturally anyways. Ah, I love it so much. I love that my name is shiny. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to do the quotes page, and I'm tempted to write in gold the quote, but I think that might be a bit too much. So I think I'm going to write it in black and then do gold around it. I've also thought maybe I want to do like the quote and then like a map design around it, because I want the book to be kind of continuous from front to back. And it's like a map of my life almost. I don't know if we're being cliche around here, maybe. This is so tough. Well, let me write the quote first, I guess. Jeez. And I'm going to use my Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen in the soft tip for this because I want it to look kind of loopy and brush lettery. And I'm just going to take a journal and stick this behind here, because I'm literally writing on like the first page, and it's really difficult to write on the first page of any book because of the way the spine flops. And we're just gonna wing this, and if it's not center, it's not center. Okay, I just wanted to say real quick, I am so proud of myself for how centered that is and not even like sketching it out. Oh, go Danielle. Okay, anyways, now we're going to use the other Fudenosuke brush, which is in the hard tip, to write out Gandalf. So cute. Oh, I love it. Okay, so I'm going to wait to do any kind of design in the background of this until I've given it some more thought. I'm tempted to just draw like map kind of design-ish thing in the back with the gold paint marker to match the gold on this side. Or I may go back in and do it with washi. Like just fill it up with some kind of washi or something. But for now, I like this the way it is, and I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to leave it alone. But I am going to stick a piece of paper in here just in case either side is wet and transfers over, because that annoys me so much when it comes to like ink and paint and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so now comes more, I guess, into like the book itself. So I made this vision board, if I can pick it up, geez, on Canva. So I just took a bunch of images that I felt really resonated with me for what my goals are for 2024 and put them into an A5 size document, I guess is what it's called. And then I print them on sticker paper, and I'm going to stick the whole thing down as like one giant sticker, and I hope that it fits. But also, I do want to talk a bit about this side in a minute, but we're going to do the vision board side first. I guess I should talk about like what's on my vision board, maybe. Okay, why not? So I have a girl here sitting on a rock meditating. I really have goals for 2024 to get very much into like self-awareness, intuition, all that kind of stuff. And it kind of coincides with the picture underneath it, which is of some tarot cards. I have a whole a whole tarot journal that I set up already. If you're interested, I'll try to link that in the card somewhere, but it is part of the playlist for my planners. I have a garden kind of veggie scape thing here. I do have a pretty substantial garden where I live, and it is a goal for me to always have a very nice harvest and a lush garden and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely like to have a nice picture of that. And then I also put a picture of like canned goods on here. This is not really accurate to what I'm going to be doing, but it was aesthetically pleasing versus what the actual stuff looks like. But I plan on preserving a lot more of my own food this year and coming up with more recipes and just being a little bit more, I guess, conscious of like my canned food that I'm eating, because store-bought stuff is great, but I like to have my own recipes that I'm consuming myself. Over here, we have a woman weightlifting. I really want to get back into the gym. I've been talking about this pretty much all of 2023. I feel like I'm finally hitting a wall and I'm going to go back and feel better and all that kind of good stuff. I also did a stack of books because, again, in 2023, I had a few spurts of good reading, but I want to get back into that habitual reading where I read a little bit every day or at least a few times a week and not just go months without reading. I also included Spanish. If you've been on my journey for Spanish practice, thank you for hanging on so long. I'm really trying to become fluent in Spanish, and I've done okay. I can have like minor conversations, but I get really stuck. So I just want to continue that and become more, I guess, accustomed with the Spanish language, just so I can have a full-on conversation with a random stranger on the internet or a friend or a family member, whatever. And then I also did a picture of like an art studio kind of situation. She's got pencils, her little pencil case, her little planner, and I kind of wanted to use this to symbolize my dandelion diary. So I do want to still grow this channel and my small sticker business and everything in 2024, just because it's fun and I love creating and I love sharing with you guys. And yeah, so I wanted that to be on there too. So without further ado, I'm going to stop talking. And the way I'm going to stick this down is like wallpaper, if you've ever wallpapered a house. So I'm only going to take the corner and stick it here, and then I'm going to go this way with it in like one push motion. I don't have like a squeegee or anything. I'm just going to kind of wing it like I did the other page. I am going to bring back that journal just so it's a little bit easier to put pressure on this side, since it is still the very opening pages of this book. Okay, she's not perfect, but you know, what is? She's a little crooked, but it's okay. I'm going to go ahead and trim off just a little bit that kind of overhanged on that side, just because it's going to annoy me. And it's like maybe 0.5 millimeter or 1 millimeter of sticker paper on that side. One long strip. Okay. But I'm still really happy with how that looks. It has all of my images and yeah, works out for me. I don't really care. Even if it's a little crooked, it's kind of like one of those imperfections that are like, it's a little crooked. That's kind of funny. Anyways, moving on. So for the year at a glance pages, I actually plan on using this as more of like what I normally do with my main planner, and that's to track some things. So I made a little list up here for my key. I will probably implement the key onto the page at some point, but since I haven't started using this planner, I don't know if I'm set on these colors or not. So we're waiting on the colors for now, but that's just kind of the examples I'm going for. But the things I like to track on this page are my period or menstrual cycle, when I have any appointments, whether they be my doctor's appointments, my family's doctor's appointments, my dentist appointments, my dog's appointments, my cat's appointments, any vet appointments, etc. appointments. I also like to track vacation dates and then also any kind of fun dates that me and my boyfriend go on. So I will usually have a variety of colors by the end of the year. And sometimes I'll add more things later on, but I don't like doing more than 5 dots, if I'm being honest, just because I feel like it gets really cluttered and I don't really like that look. So I usually stick to 4 or 5 dots. Okay, now we're moving on into the blank page here. I went back and forth on what I wanted to do with this, and I have to say, I think I want to do it mainly as like an indexing page for all of my back pages, and then also an adulting log for this page. Okay, so for the indexing pages, I'm actually going to use stamps. This will be pretty much exactly the same way I did it in my Hobonichi Cousin, where I used these cute little alphabet letter stamps, and I'm going to do index on this side and then adulting log on this side. And the ink that I'm going to be using is by Versa Magic. It's the one that I find works the best on the Tomoe River paper. There's no bleeding or anything like that. And I don't typically smudge it, but we'll hope that doesn't happen today because I just jinxed myself. Alrighty, that is all I'm going to do for the stamps. And now I'm going to kind of draw out where my lines are going to be. And to do that, I'm going to use these gray Staedtler Tri-Plus fine liners. I'm obsessed with these. I like this better than pencil because it's permanent. And yeah, I basically am going to draw a straight line here, if I can see it. I'm going to bring this closer to me for a second, I'm sorry. And then I'm going to draw another line going this direction. Basically, it's going to have like a page number and then a description of what it is, like a true index, just because the back pages are undated, like they're just notes pages basically, and there's quite a few of them. So I mainly plan on doing this as like, okay, on this page I started January, this page I started February, March, etc. going down, or if I have any like fun logs I decide to make, or like really anything exciting, I don't know, anything I feel like tracking in the index will go there of whatever I have in the back pages. Then for the adulting log, I already set one of these up in my Hobonichi Cousin, but this is like the main planner and the Cousin is more like the whatchamacallit, memory planner. So I wanted to have another one in this book as well. Here is the one for the Hobonichi Cousin. So I'm basically going to be doing the exact same thing, but on this page. And I do want to say I cannot take credit for the adulting log. This was 100% Lindsay Scribble's idea. I just adopted it my own ways for my own planners, but she originally came up with the idea in one of her old like Hobonichi Weeks videos, I think. But I absolutely loved it, so I have adopted it for my own purposes, and I like to put it in all of my planners. But kudos to the original idea. And again, to save some time, I'm just going to write out my own tasks over here, and I will be back in a minute. Okay, so I went ahead and wrote it all out, and I will just show you guys what I wrote here, in case you were curious. I have quite a variety of things that I like to keep on my adulting log, mainly things to do with like car maintenance, bathroom maintenance, like making sure I'm changing out our razors and dish sponges and checking the smoke detector batteries. I also like to put on here when I flea treat our cats, bathe our dogs and cats. Our cats get bathed probably like every 3 months just because they are outdoors all the time and they get lots of crud in their fur, we'll say. And I also like to mark when I clean out our chicken coop, when we do any kind of a car registration things or oil changes, anything like that. So that's what I usually like to track on my adulting log. Alrighty, so moving right along. Now comes probably the page I feel like a lot of people struggle with, and yeah, I guess I already knew what I wanted to do with this, so I wasn't really struggling per se, but I definitely want to go through this with you, so this is probably going to be a good chunk of time in this video, just kind of setting this up. So the way Catherine has this laid out, I feel works really well for some, but also is really challenging for others. So I'm going to take you through every single goal that I'm going to do, and I'm going to break down each one with you guys just so you can see how I'm going to be using it. I will just put a disclaimer here. I will be talking about like health stuff in here, like mental and spiritual things. So if any of this is uncomfortable for you, I'm just skip to the next section of the video. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and clip this down to this other book because again, I'm tired of fighting the cover popping up because it's still new. And to save myself some time, I actually typed out everything that I want to write just because it's a lot. Okay, this is a lot, but I'm gonna try to explain this best I can because I feel like this section trips a lot of people up, and maybe having a perspective that's different may help you with it. So the first goal that I'm going to write down is over here, and it's going to be my health goals. So I'm going to use my Tombow Fudnosuke brush pen and just letter in health. And the way this is broken down is someday, 1 year, half year, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily. So I'm going to start with the someday, and then I'm going to work my way across. And I'm going to be using a uni Jetstream for this because it doesn't smudge on the Tomoe River paper, and I'm going to be moving my arm across a lot for this, and I don't want it to get absolutely wrecked if I use like a gel pen or a fountain pen or anything like that. So I'm just going to use classic ballpoint uni Jetstream for this. But for the someday of my health goal, I put that I want to reach a healthy body weight and have muscle to keep up with my future children and stay healthy as I get older. Then for my 1 year section, this is kind of where I put down more hard goals where it has like numbers. So I wanted to say that I want to tone my arms and legs as well as run a 10K this year, in addition to eating primarily whole foods and eating out sparingly. So then basically, since I had that as like my whole year goal, let's break that down into half a year. What would that look like if I wanted to tone my arms and legs, run a 10K, and eat primarily good food? For half a year, I would need to basically be able to run a 5K twice and also reach some kind of goal weight, is my guess, to get to the 1 year stage. So I currently don't really care about the number on this scale. I mainly just care about how my body feels, and I go by that. So I'm not really going to put a number down on here, but I am going to put that I want to run a 5K twice. So not necessarily run a 10K full length, but run a 5K twice. And instead of putting a goal weight with a number, I put that I want to maintain a steady weight to life balance. So as long as I'm feeling good about myself and feeling healthy in my body, I think that's a good way to start, especially making it 6 months through the year. If by 6 months through the year, I still feel like I need to do more, I still have a whole other 6 months that I can work on that to get more, feel better in the body that I'm in. The next section here is the quarterly section. So I don't really have anything that I want to break down into the quarterly section. I mainly just go by monthly or weekly or daily for this. So quarterly section, I'm actually going to just leave blank for the health section. But in the monthly section, things I'm going to try to work on to make sure that I'm, eating whole foods and also running is basically I want to limit myself to having 2 dinners out per month. I also want to limit myself to, or not limit myself, to give myself 2 24 hours per month. 24-hour fasts per month. Sorry, reading this and talking is hard. And then I also want to run at least 1 5K per month. So I'm going to do this as more of like a bullet style just because it's easier for me to see on a monthly basis, since when I re-reference this throughout the year, I will flip to this page and be like, okay, this month I need to blah, 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 and then I'm done. So I also have space in here where, like, let's say after a month or 2 of doing this, I need to change this up or I need to add some things. I have space. I can go back in and add that if I want to. So now let's break monthly down into more weekly. So I know every month I'm only going to eat out twice, and I know I want to run at least one 5K, and I want to do two 24-hour fasts. So if I break that down into more of a weekly thing, I know running a 5K is 3 miles. For people who don't use the metric, it's 3 miles. So if I run 3 times a week, I will be able to hopefully reach that goal of 3 miles at least once a month. So let's say every other day I run 1 mile per week. Then I will have officially technically run 3 miles within that week, but just in separate occurrences. Over time, those occurrences will get longer and longer and longer, and my endurance will increase until I can reach to that 5K goal, and then ultimately at the end of the year, the 10K goal. That's my plan anyways. So the other things I wrote on here are meal prepping on slower days and then weightlifting for muscle balance. So the thing that I wrote on here, remember for monthly, was I only want to eat out twice a month. So all of the other days I'm going to be cooking at home, either just for myself or for my family. So I need to be able to prep meals in advance or on days that we're feeling a little bit more lazy, I guess. So that way I don't have these cravings that I need to just jump into when I'm feeling them. So if I have something prepped already, I'm less likely to go be like, okay, there's nothing to eat that's fast. I want to go get fast food, or I want to go to a restaurant or whatever. And then as for the weightlifting for muscle balance, remember my main goal for the whole year was to have toned arms and legs. So while running is still part of my goal, I still want to lift weights because that's ultimately what's going to shape the muscles in my body based on how my nutrition values and everything works for me personally. If you're ever curious about anything, definitely talk to a health professional. They have some good ones out there, just saying. But the last section for health is daily. So daily is kind of I don't know, it's kind of hard to make a daily goal for yourself in terms of health other than, you're not going to eat out. But I basically broke this down into I'm going to follow my own fasting guidelines. I'm going to try to walk at least 20 minutes a day if I don't do any other exercise. And then I'm also going to make sure I'm getting a proper serving of fruits and vegetables every day. And all of those things kind of coincide with everything else I'm still doing. It's just breaking it down even further into like the little bitty nitty gritty pieces. Okay, so with that, I'm pretty much done with my health goals and I'm ready to move on into the next section, which is going to be my wealth section. It's mainly going to encompass things that involve like wealth and work, so money and work tasks. So this section can be a little bit tricky, I feel like, especially to share with the internet, but I'm going to do my best to keep it as not sensitive, like basically all of my sensitive information is still staying with me. Y'all are just getting the pieces that I'm okay with sharing kind of thing. But my main goal, I would say, and probably most people's goal or their someday goal would be yeah, financially free and have a steady flow of income to spend time with your family basically. So now we're going to break that down into, okay, well, that sounds lovely, Danielle. Like everybody wants to be financially free and have like all the money to do all the things. That's great. But what are you going to do this year? So yes, I want that to be my ultimate goal, but this year, what am I going to do to work towards that? So I plan on growing my Dandelion Diaries, my business. I'm going to continue to try to grow that. I'm also going to look into investing certain things, talk to maybe an investor type person. I don't want to share too much with this. And then other things I want to do is also limit unnecessary spending. So that I feel like is huge when it comes to wealth and anything like that, is just if you're spending things unnecessarily, you need to like check yourself before you wreck yourself kind of situation. So all of that to say, let's break that down into like half a year. Let's put a number to it. Let's say I want to grow my business, right? But I want to also invest something. So maybe by half year point, I will have hope to have saved probably like, I don't know, $5,000 or something, $1,000, whatever. And then after that point, I want to invest it. So let's just say for my half year goal, I want to have saved, let's just say $1,000 and invested a portion of my income. So that's pretty bland, I know, but again, I'm not comfortable sharing everything on the internet, guys. Just, yeah. So now let's break that down into more a quarterly section. So every quarter, that's 3 months. So every 3 months, I am going to check in with my budget and any kind of consistency I need to change for my Dandelion Diaries. So let's just say budget check-in would be like, okay, every 3 months I've assessed my budget. Am I going over? Am I overspending? Am I underspending? Am I saving too little? Am I saving too much? Whatever, and kind of reassess if your budget needs to change after that. And then when it comes to like goals and sales for my Dandelion Diaries, this is my small business. I'm trying to grow it. It's something that I'm really passionate about. It's something I love sharing with you guys. So I'm definitely going to try to check in every quarter and see if there's anything I need to do for that to either help it grow, if it stagnates, or if it starts to decline, what I can do to kind of shift that in whatever direction I want it to go. So then, after we've done the quarterly section, we're going to break that down even further into the monthly section. And basically, monthly, I want to keep up with my monthly budget that I set for myself. I also want to save according to my savings tracker, which I'll show you guys how I'm going to set that up in a little bit. And then I also want to continue to keep up with my designs and my content for this channel and my small business. So now all that's kind of great, right? Like every month I need to be checking with my budget. I need to be saving money. I need to be making content for you guys, all that kind of stuff. So let's break that down to every week. So there's approximately like 4 weeks in a month, we'll say. And at this point, I need to be doing at least one video for you guys here on YouTube. I feel like is a minimum because I don't know, I need to at least be sharing one video with you guys. And then I also need to be regularly posting on my Instagram. So I'm just going to put YouTube and Instagram posting. And like I said, for the sake of the internet, I'm going to keep it pretty bland, but I'll probably end up putting in numbers and stuff for myself in another book or stuff that doesn't go on the internet. But now we need to break it down into daily. So daily would likely be just keeping track of my like stories and stuff, like Instagram usage. Because I feel like if you're posting regularly on Instagram or you're actively using Instagram, it helps with the algorithm somehow. I'm no expert. That's just me talking. But I also want to be able to work on designs daily as I have time. And that's something that I feel like will really help with both my creativity and then also hopefully coming up with cool ideas for you guys. And that is it for wealth. So the next section I'm going to do is called mental. And it's not that I'm mental. It's mainly for like mental health, mental knowledge, things like that. For the mental, this is basically what I consider to be like reading, knowledge, anything to do with language, really anything like that. So for my someday goal, I want to have read 1,000 books and also have learned multiple languages. And then I also kind of include in this category mental health. So I put on here to have some kind of peace with my anxiety and depression. Obviously, those are some pretty big numbers for me. 1,000 books is quite a lot. And then multiple languages, with that, I just kind of mean more than 2. I currently only speak English fluently, but I am working towards Spanish, which brings me to my goal for mainly this year is basically continuing my journey to become fluent in Spanish. And then for books, I want to read at least 25 books this year. That is my goal. It is pretty low. It's like 1 book every 2 weeks. I feel like I can do it. And yeah. And then for my mental health practice, I definitely want to do more journaling, specifically things like morning pages and evening pages, which I have a whole notebook ready to go for that. So breaking that down into like half a year, half of 25 is roughly 12.5, I believe. So I'll just put read 13 books by 6 months. And then for my Spanish practice, I want to be able to have one conversation totally in Spanish, which I feel like is a very easy goal to reach in 6 months, but we shall see. So now let's move on into the quarterly. So half a year, 6 months, let's break that down again. So half of 13 is about 7.5, or no, 6.5. So I will say I want to read at least 6 books per quarter. And then as for my Spanish, I want to be able to review it with my family and practice with my family. Breaking that down again into more of a monthly basis. So 6 books per every 3 months. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So it would be 2 books a month. Again, a book every other week, essentially. And then I also want to kind of do a Spanish movie and TV show. I feel like that really helps with conversational Spanish, is to watch it fully in Spanish and kind of understand what's going on with the characters. And helps you put words together more in a more conversational style, which is what I'm going for, obviously. So then we're going to be breaking it down into the weekly section. Since it's like 2 books per month, I could put like half a book a week kind of situation, but I feel like each book's a little bit different, so I'm not going to put that much specificity into the weekly. I'm just going to put read at least 3 times a week. And then for my Spanish, I really want to work on at least 2 lessons in my Spanish practice book, as well as 1 partial conversation with my family. So now that all of that's kind of done, we can break it down into like things that I'm going to do every single day or majority of days, like a daily practice, which is part of the daily goals. And with that, it would be working on the chapters and units in my Spanish course workbook, and then also probably trying to read, because we're still doing our goal here for reading as well. So reading 30 minutes a day, and then I also want to practice my journaling twice a day. And that's pretty much it for what I'm going to do for my mental section. The next section I have that I like to make goals for is my spiritual section. Kind of misspelled that, but it's okay. And for this, it's mainly more, I don't know, I feel like this one's a hard one to make goals for, but someday I would like to be a very enlightened individual. Which is like kind of interesting because enlightened, like I don't think you'd know if you're enlightened if you are enlightened or not, but it's still kind of like what I'm going for. So with this breaking down into this year, I want to familiarize myself more with my tarot practice and then also grow my intuition. And I also want to be more dedicated to my meditation practice, where I do more than 10 minutes a day kind of situation. So basically for the half year, I don't really have anything I want to put in that box other than like what I would do normally every month is like a reassessment. So I'm actually going to leave the half year section blank for this one. For the quarterly, I do want to do like a quarterly review or like a check-in. Just with my tarot practice specifically, to see if there's anything I need to adjust. Maybe the journal that I set up isn't working for me. I need to find a new method. Or just maybe the decks that I have aren't really resonating with me anymore. I need to, sell those and get new ones or buy new ones, whatever, and just kind of assess where my situation is with that. And then as for like meditation, I feel like that is mainly going to be more on the daily section here. I don't really need to do anything with that quarterly, just because it is more of a daily practice and not really a quarterly practice. So I'm going to leave the meditation towards the end here. Moving on into the monthly section, this is where I'm going to do a monthly tarot poll. And I talked a little bit about that in my tarot journal. I plan on doing like a whole page in the notes section, basically dedicated to whatever card I pull for that month with my interpretations and how I want to do it. I also am going to be cleansing our home. And to me, that just means clutter cleaned up, cleaning the house in general, any kind of like prayers, anything like that, just needs to go over the house and just cleanse the house. honestly is a really good monthly practice if you haven't done it yourself. I don't know, I feel like it lifts a lot of the air in your house. It doesn't make it as heavy. And then for the weekly, I also want to do weekly tarot spreads, which I feel like is, I don't know. I can't really break this one down too much more than what I'm saying, just because it's really personal. And then for daily, it is a daily tarot card pull, and then also meditation for at least 15 minutes. And I feel like that's pretty much all I want to say for the spiritual section of my goals. The next section is relationship. And for this one, it mainly coincides with like not just the relationship with my partner, but also the relationship with my family, the relationship with my friends, any kind of social media presence I have, just relationships in general as like a whole. So someday I would like to be married and have a big happy family is like my main goal for relationships, honestly. And then for my 1-year goal, I hope to spend more time with my friends and family, as well as take my relationship to any next steps that it needs to go to. Again, for the half-year section for this goal, I don't really have anything to say, so I'm just going to move straight into the quarterly section. Quarterly, I plan on spending at least one outing with my friends. I also plan to visit my mom at least once a quarter. It'll probably be more often than that, but it's okay. And then I also want to stay on top of my family birthdays, which may be more monthly, but I like to send cards. So on a monthly basis, I want to go on a nice date with my boyfriend. And then I also want to visit one new local place near me every month. On a weekly basis, I will spend at least 2 nights of that week dedicated to like spending time with my family versus working through nights or working on myself or anything like that. And then daily, I want to have a good work-life balance. And to me, that means a full conversation away from work. Basically, like when we're having conversation over dinner, I don't want to talk about business or work. I want to talk about you or your family or something cool you learned that day. Just try to keep business talk away from like our conversation if I can help it. Not to say that we don't talk business or that I don't want to talk about business. It's just like I want to have conversations that don't just revolve around like work stuff, like leave your work at work kind of situation. I hope you guys understand. And the last section on the goal page that I have, or that I like to goal plan for, is my inspiration section. And inspiration can be pretty much anything, but for me, it's mainly like travel or things that spark my creativity. So for my someday, I want to have traveled the world and seen things that kind of like take my breath away. In terms of a yearly goal for this year specifically, I hope to travel to at least one place internationally. And I also want to find new places to visit in nature, because I find a lot of inspiration from nature walks or spending time outside. I also want to expose myself to more cultural diverse foods. I'm a huge fan of trying anything once, and if I don't like it after that, I'm sorry. But like that's let's see, a couple of years ago I went to an Ethiopian restaurant for the first time, and I got to have teff, which is like the little pancake they have, and the restaurant owner was so nice, and he gave us like this whole array of different samples of the different dishes they had. It was so unbelievably good, and I would love to go to more places like that. If they don't have any in my area, I would definitely travel somewhere to go try it. But at least this year, I want to try new cultural dishes that I haven't tried before, is basically what I'm trying to say. So basically, for the first 6 months of the year, I want to at least have my passport renewed, because I need to renew it badly. And then I also want to have traveled to at least one place. Even if it's still within the United States where I live, that's fine. I want to be able to have said that I went somewhere within the first 6 months of the year, basically. And then quarterly, I want to go camping at least once a quarter, which is kind of hard to do in the winter quarter, but it's okay. And then monthly, I want to try a new food, whether that be a new recipe I find to myself and try to cook myself, or we go somewhere and find a new dish from a new cultural restaurant or something like that in our area. And then weekly, I'm thinking probably within either like the books I read or maybe like a documentary I watch. I definitely want to have some kind of like thing that I'm consuming that is about another culture, just because I feel like it's so interesting to see how diverse the world is and how many languages there are and how many like music and dancing and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely want to have at least one thing I'm consuming per week that is culturally different. And then on a daily basis, this is going to be really cliche, but I just want to look at things that inspire me because that's the best way I can put it, as a daily thing. All right, so that is officially it for the goal planning section. That was a lot of talking and a lot of writing for me, so thank you for bearing with me on that. I'm going to leave it at this. I may go back in and decorate the empty boxes with like a sticker or something, but for now, we're going to leave this alone. So moving on into the more quarterly pages. Again, I'm not really going to fill this out. I'm just going to kind of explain what I'm doing here because I don't want to use this until January 1st when the book actually starts. So hopefully I can make this make sense on camera. I know it's hard to see without a visual, but this is what I'm thinking of doing. So my plan is to actually cut this page in half. So I'm going to have like a left half and then a right half. This side will be kind of like my intentions. So especially for the monthly section, so I'll be like January intentions and then February intentions and then March intentions. And then at the end of every month, I will re-reference this page and write the review of what actually, like the intentions I met or things I have to say about the month. So basically like intentions, review kind of situation. For the top section, the priority section, I actually do want to split this page as well. I want to do kind of like my top 3 to 6 things I want to do per quarter, basically referencing this page. So anything in this quarterly section, I want to try to put here, and then I will adjust it as the quarters go on if my goal page, like what I set here, is unmanageable for me. Then at the end of the quarter, again, I'll come back and I'll do like a little quarterly review to see how I did on those things. For this page, I actually was really unsure what to do because I did a tracker page for 2023. I loved how it turned out, but I mainly was just re-referencing information I already had somewhere else. So I wanted to do something a little bit different this year, or for 2024, I guess. So my plan is, instead of doing like habits here and habit tracking or tracking anything like that, I'm going to do a time tracking. And I'm going to try to explain this as best I can with a sticky note because I don't think there's really another way to explain it than doing it like this. So basically, I'm going to have a bar of color depending on what I did for the day. So I'm just going to pick some random colors here that I have in front of me. Okay, so let's say that green is sleep. So I slept for 2 hours, or 2 hours, 8 hours. And then I woke up and I did my exercise for 2 hours. Again, just bear with me. I'm just trying to explain it. This isn't accurate of what actually happens. And then I worked for, let's say, 8 hours, right? Standard work day. And then realistically, the rest of the day would be me time. So I basically want to color in each one of these squares as like a timeline of how my day goes to see how much time I'm actually using a day per each category of tasks. So I know that's probably really confusing, but basically, I'll zoom you in. Basically, there are 10 blocks here, so that's 20 hours essentially. Obviously, if I'm not getting at least 4 hours of sleep a night, I have another problem. So realistically, I would just need to add 4 more hours of sleep if I'm getting a full 8 hours of sleep every night. So that's what these 2 little green colored squares are. Then if I'm exercising, I'm hoping that I'm doing probably an hour long workout at the gym and maybe spending an hour outside either walking, gardening, clearing our backyard, running with the dogs, whatever. So that'll probably be another 2 hours of time. Probably not all together. That would be a lot of movement just for a very short amount of time, but I could easily cut the square in half, draw it, and then put the other half over here. If I split it up, whatever. Then you would have 8 hours of work, assuming you worked a normal work day. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So 4 squares colored in, and there's your work section. And then I would do a, hopefully the rest of the day is like me time or fun time, things that I would need to get done around the house, whatever, anything like that. And that would be that final color in the final section. So ultimately this would probably be like the goal of what this would look like, with like 2, 1, 4, 3 squares filled in. But who knows what this will actually look like if I implement this throughout the year. But this is what I'm thinking about doing for this page versus doing a habit tracker or anything like that. Moving on into the monthly pages. Again, I know we're in December, so I technically could set this up with you guys, but I really don't want to start using this until January. I just want to set it up. So I'm not going to set up the monthlies just yet. I'll definitely show you guys when I do my first flip through and all that kind of stuff of what I complete after this. But I mainly want to use the monthlies as a monthly calendar. So it's going to be like my scheduled holidays, birthdays, appointments, any vacation, the things that I like to track, like the full moons and zodiac time frames, if I have a monthly to-do list, highlights, general stuff like that. So again, sorry, I'm not going to set this up on camera, but you will get to see it at some point. Then moving on into the weekly section. Again, I'm not really going to set this up because I do plan on using this on January 1st, but I typically do my weeklies like a chronological order of things I'm doing throughout the day. I don't necessarily have to follow the timeline, but I will say the timeline in the Sterling ink is much more my speed, because I don't really wake up at 4 a.m. 6 a.m. is definitely early enough, and that's good enough for me to start there and then work my way down. And then I will use this other sections here to either track like a daily check-in or tracking or anything like that, which again I will share once I start using the planner as a planner. But we will go ahead and set up tabs because that's what I left this little reminder here for. So the tabs that I want to use are actually from my shop. So I have a few options. Mainly, I originally wanted to use my warm honey colors because I felt like it looked really good with the kind of like warm caramel brown color on the front. But then I had several requests to make the tabs a single color and not have any kind of like range of colors. So I made these, and I don't know, I feel like they're all really good options. Because I feel like the sand ones, these are the sand color, are just too plain for me. And I feel like these ones are pretty, but I would rather have more of the colors. So I think I'm going to use my warm honey color ones. And then I also made blank versions of these. So I will probably use some blank versions for like the quarterly pages, and maybe another one of them, but I'll get to that in a minute. For now, I'm just going to tab up this section. And since I have literally shown you all how to do tabs on so many of my setups already, I'm not going to show this part. I will be back in a minute and the planner will be all tabbed up. All right, so I have attached all of the tabs. This is what I decided to do. I went ahead and left a space here just because I like the separation of like the main pages in the front versus all the pages in the middle. And then eventually when I get to the daily pages as I go, I will tab behind this, the daily sections when those ones starts from January to December, assuming I'm going to be doing dailies for all of the months. We shall see. This is undated for a reason in the back because if I need to skip a day, I'm going to skip a day. But anyways, I really like how this turned out. I did use one of the blank ones and wrote quarter without the vowels here. Okay, well, minus 2 vowels. I still put the U. But basically I wrote with the uni jet stream and it worked out just great for that little tab. So after the weeklies section is like the beginning of the notes pages. So I want to do a date night spread, and what I was thinking about doing with this is basically doing kind of like a washi border around all of it at some point. This is the washi I was thinking about using. Well, this is PET tape, but this is the Rose Noir Washi Tape Shop PET tape. They have a washi version as well. I've talked about my obsession with this tape in every video, I feel like at this point. So instead of actually laying this down today though, I think I'm just going to set up the bare bones of the date night, and then I will decide later if I want to go back in to add in the washi around it, which I probably will. It's just, yeah, I think I just want to do bare bones for right now. And instead of doing the stamps for this, I'm going to just letter it. And I'm going to use this one, the soft tip Fudnosuke. And essentially, this is just a way for me to reflect on any of the fun dates that me and my boyfriend go on, if we go to any fun place or do anything super special. That way it is documented forever. I do have this again in my memory planner, my Hobonichi cousin. So this is like where the information will go down first, and then I will clean it up and put it into the cousin every now and then when I update that thing as my memory keeper. And essentially this is like the date that we went, like the day of the week or month or whatever it is, and then this will be the description side. And I'm going to leave this other page blank for now. I may go back in and fill it out with something, but for now I am going to leave it blank. The next two pages I have here, I want to set up as like a reading log spread where I note like the date I start a book, the author, the name of the book, how many pages it is, etc. But I'm not super set on having this in this book. I do have a reading journal that I use for like my own notes and ratings and how I feel about the book in general. But I don't know. I'm not super set on this, so I'm not going to set it up on camera with you guys. I may set it up later down the line if I decide to actually go with it. But I do think I want to have some kind of reading spread in the book. And then for the rest of these pages, I just kind of have flagged out where the month generally should begin based on how many days are in the month if I were doing like 1 page a day. And I don't have quite enough pages for December. I think I have like 21 pages or something like that. Let me see. Yeah, 21 pages left. But I do know myself and I know I'm going to miss a few days. So I'm not super worried about not having enough pages per se, because I'm also writing a bunch of other stuff in other books. So I think I'll be fine with my number of pages, even if 1 month is a little bit short. I'll be a-okay. So after all of that is said and done, we get to the back cover. I definitely want to go ahead and write goodbye 2024 on this side. And this is where I want to put my written to the bone sticker, because at this point in the book, if I make it all the way to the last page, I will probably have written my little tiny fingers into the bones. So I feel like this was a good fit for back here. So I'm going to stick this down. And then I'm just going to write goodbye 2024 kind of in the middle if I can. All right, we're just going to do the abbreviated 24 because I want it to be centered, and yeah, that's me. Also, one thing I am noticing about the new Sanzen paper is it dries a lot faster, which is great, but at the same time sucks. So just keep in mind, it dries a lot faster. You may not be able to correct mistakes as easily if you like to use a lot of like wet flowing things. Anyways, that's all I'm going to do for the back page. This page here, I want to do a continuation of whatever I do in the front. So this page, if I can get to it, where I have the quote, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do like a map design, because if I do a map design, I'll continue it over here. Or I can do the washi tape around this and continue the washi tape over here. But I haven't 100% decided yet. So like I said, we're leaving it blank for now, but I will come back and yeah, I will show you guys what I do with that. And then we get to the back cover. So I'm basically going to do again the same thing that I did in the front here, where I did a night and day kind of situation. So I'm going to continue that and do like day and night. I don't think I need to show that on camera because you already watched me do it mostly on this side, but that is what I'm going to be doing right here. Okay, so I finished both the day and night side of this. Again, I really love how this looks. It does take a bit of effort, I would definitely say, but I really like how it looks. So that is pretty much it for this. I'm going to go ahead and put the clear cover on it. So this is, like I said, that Lauren Phelps Designs clear cover with the Nib and Fleur collaboration. It does fit, I promise. I'm just trying to be careful of my washi. Alrighty. So I personally didn't have to warm this cover up at all. It just already fit this chunky monkey just fine, which I was really happy about. So yeah, there's that. And then after that, I'm going to actually house it inside another cover. I know it's kind of overkill, but don't judge me. I like the clear cover because it's cute. And then I like this cover because it's absolutely stunning. This is the Hobonichi Tot cover in the Bordeaux color. And I absolutely love, this is just so pretty. It's very shiny and plasticky looking, but in person, I'm telling you, it feels so cool. It's like a good pair of nice leather shoes is the best way I can describe it. Anyways, I wanted to show that this book fit perfectly in here with the clear cover on it. If you wanted to put it with just one cover in, this is how it looks. I don't have any overhang. You can just see my tabs. Obviously, as the book chunks out, it will likely have some overhang, but this is what it looks like so far. But if you wanted to put both covers into the leather cover, it closes just fine as well. So I just wanted to share that with you guys for the purpose of this video. I don't like putting both covers in. I like having one cover out, so I'm going to quickly undo that. But at least you guys can see that it does fit both covers in. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick flip through of this before I move into my budget little booklet. That'll be like a whole separate section for this, but here is the flip through of the common planner that I have set up for 2024. As of right now, I'll probably add some stuff throughout the year, but right now this is where I'm at. So I went ahead and put that clear cover on here with the Lauren Phelps Designs. I did a washi dashboard wallpaper situation. So I did a white version and a black version, kind of like night and day. I used this journaling card from Magic of I that I got with my planner this year. Absolutely love the hollow gold foil on this. So fun. Then I have a little pocket here from the Coffee Monsters Co. Then on this page, I went ahead and did my quote for the year, which is all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. This was said by Gandalf in The Lord of the Rings by J.R. Tolkien. Absolutely love that series. Probably one of my favorites. Then I did my kind of vinyl, I don't know, collage, but not really collage. I just wanted to use a bunch of vinyls. And then I did a Danielle here with my gold pen. This is from the Coffee Monsters Co. All 4 of these are actually from my shop. And then this is from the Sticky Club. Then I did my vision board, which I created on Canva. And then for my year at a glance, I'm going to use this as kind of like a tracker page with the dots up here, basically tracking my period, appointments, vacation, dates, all that kind of good stuff. For the 2-page blank spread, I went ahead and just did this as an index because I do plan on using the back pages for daily things and other things, and I want to have a reference of what is on what page in the back. And then I also did my adulting log, which was inspired by Lindsay Scribbles a long time ago. I have since kind of moved this into my own little way, but I really do love having this in my main planner for the year. Then I did my goals pages with you guys. If you're interested in the breakdown of these, please check out that section. I spent a lot of time sharing with this, and I hope it made it easier for you to set up your pages if you want to use it as goal tracking. If not, don't worry about it. This is just really, I don't know, a way I break down, and Catherine breaks down her goals are very similar. That's probably it. Moving on into the quarterly pages, again, I didn't really set anything up, but I do plan on using this as like a little time tracking situation where I color in different squares, almost like a year in pixels kind of thing, but with time. I'll definitely be sharing that in flip throughs throughout the month whenever I go through all of that. Then moving on into the monthly pages, again, I didn't set this up. I know we're in December, but I don't really want to start using this until January 1st. So the monthlies are basically going to be what I use monthlies for anyways with planning, tracking things, holidays, birthdays, appointments, etc. So they're going to look, I don't know, different, I guess. Each month they'll be a little bit different. For the weekly section, I again didn't set anything up because I plan on using this on January 1st, but I did put in my tabs. These are the warm honey colors. Then for the beginning of the notes pages, I went ahead and put in a date night log. This is just where I like to keep track of the different dates that my boyfriend and I go on, what day we go, and what we did. I left 2 pages because we'll probably need 2 pages, but for now, I'm excited to leave it as it is. I may go back in and decorate it more, but I haven't decided yet. I then want to do either a 2-page spread or maybe even a 3-page spread. I haven't really decided for a reading log. Basically want to keep track of the different books that I'm reading throughout the year. But again, I don't know if I'm going to put this in this book or if I'm going to leave that solely in my reading journal. But my reading journal is more of like just the books themselves, not actually like planned out or anything, which is why I kind of want to put it in this book. But again, I'm not super set yet, so I'm going to leave this blank for now. But I do think I will end up putting a reading log. I don't know. And then the last pages in here are basically going to be daily pages throughout the year. So I left all of those blank. Then on the back page, I went ahead and wrote goodbye 24 or 2024 and put down a written to the bone sticker from my shop. I plan on continuing whatever I would do in the front and the back. So I explained this a little bit when I was doing it, but I kind of want to draw like a map design here and then continue the map into the back. So I'll see what I do if I end up kind of like continuing it over or if I just do washi or what, but that's my idea so far. And then the last pages, I did another set of that night and day kind of washi dashboards all the way across. And that is it for my A5 Common Planner, which is crazy to think that 2024 is right around the corner. Anyways, next I'm going to go ahead and set up my monthly booklet here, which is also from Sterling Ink. This is the A5 size, and I'm going to use this as a budget and spending thing. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned for the next section of this video.
Okay, so it's been a few days since I originally set up the main book, but we are now going to be setting up the spending budget booklet that I like to do. So I do one of these every single year. I basically set it up to hold all of the financial information for my entire year, whether it be like budget layouts, any kind of financing, like debt tracking, which I am happy to say I am debt free. But I do like to use this as kind of like a catch-all for when I do my taxes and any kind of financial stuff with advisors or whatever. I like to have it all in one place. So when Sterling Ink came out with this booklet this year, I was super excited to get one and use it for my spending tracker, just because I usually use a blank one from the Hobonichi and have to kind of like write in my own spreads. So with this, it's already kind of laid out for me, and I'm really excited to use it that way because then I don't have to draw on my own stuff as much. So yeah, I do have to get creative to use some of the other more structured pages though. So in the beginning, I just want to write out what this is, which is a spending booklet. And just for a little bit of fun decoration, I'm going to use my Coffee Monsters Co. washi here. This is the money one. I thought it would be absolutely perfect for this. And I don't want it to be like too, I guess, decoed, because I may have to share this with somebody that doesn't understand stationery as much as I do. And they'll probably think I'm crazy for having a bunch of like cute little emojis and sparkly things on my book, but I have to have it be a little bit cute just for me. And I'm going to drink some coffee really quick. So for the year at a glance page here, I mainly just want to use this as a way to track my paydays, when my bills are due, and when I need to pay taxes. So I will do a key situation. So I'll probably have a different color dot for each one of those things and then put a dot on the day of. I haven't really decided what colors I want to use yet, but that's kind of what I want to do. So that's pretty much all I'm going to say for this section. For the double page here, the blank spread, not blank spage. Oh my gosh. I went to set this up as a savings tracker or a savings challenge tracker. So I basically want to do 52 of something in this section. And because it is, I guess, fun, I thought I may use some more of my Coffee Monsters Co. stuff. So this is the cute little stamp that came with one of her subscriptions. And I figured I could color in each head as I achieve that savings goal for that week. So being that it's 52 weeks, I'm thinking of doing like 1, 2, 3 to 52, and then have a total at the bottom. It's like 1,000 something dollars. So I'm going to do that in kind of like a layout like this, and then I'm going to color in each head as I save that amount of money, depending on what week it is, and I'll write down what week, etc. The ink that I'm going to use is the same ink I've been using in most of my videos, and that is the Versa Magic. This is the Midnight Black color. It's honestly my favorite for the toilet paper paper, just because I never experienced any bleed through or anything like that. Okay, so I probably should have evenly spaced them all out before I started stamping, but I don't really care. So I'm just going to go back in with my Tombow Fudnosuke brush pen and the hard tip this time and write out what this is. And then essentially my goal here is to have like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, etc. Okay, so now what I would do throughout the year is basically color in one of the heads, write out the dollar amount that I saved, assuming that I save like, let's say week 1 I save $1, or week 52 I save like $52. Whatever it is, I'm going to color in a little emoji head and then write out the amount of money I saved for that week. I've seen others do this where they just have it numbered 1 through 52 and then they color in whichever box they saved. You could do it that way too. I think that would be nice. It's just this is the way I wanted to do it, and yeah. Also, since I'm the only one that really is going to ever look at this, I don't care that it's kind of messy. If I was going to be making this for somebody else, I probably would have spaced it out really nicely and made sure it's all even and all that kind of stuff. But again, since it's mainly just me, I don't really need it to be absolutely perfect for this situation. For the goals section, I'm actually not going to use this as goals at all. So I want to make these into little pie chart sections for each month of the year. So I actually have a spreadsheet that I use for my finances, and it does little pie charts for me. It creates like a little pie graph of what my spending is going to be. So like X color is like home finances or bills, and then I have like another wedge for groceries, another wedge for like when we eat out, food and drink, and another wedge for like pet expenses, etc. So I really want to have a physical copy of it just for fun, and I needed some way to use up these pages. And since I don't really want to use this as like financial goals, since I kind of have my things like that written down somewhere else, I wanted to use this in a more creative way. So this is the lovely washi tape that y'all suggested from Jet Pens. This is the whiteout, quote unquote, washi tape. I will try to link this in the description. It is super thin. It's 3 millimeters and it is opaque white. It is very, very white, if my camera will focus. There we go. So it is very, very white. So I'm hoping it's going to totally block out the top part here. And we shall test it out right now. So just to show y'all the close-up of what happened with it, it's not super, super opaque to where it blocked out all of the black writing, but I think I did a really good job. So I'm really happy with this. Thank you so much for y'all's suggestions. We're keeping that on there for sure. But I want to go ahead and use a washi tape roll. We'll just use this one. And I'm going to draw pencil circles. Okay, so essentially the way this would work is I would have like January, February, March, April, etc. But each one of these would be broken down into a little pie wedge depending on my spending for that month. So I'll show you guys the categories I have in my spending tracker. So I have bills, subscriptions, which could be things like Netflix or Spotify, any kind of, I guess, entertainment subscriptions, or if you have any like sports subscriptions or anything like that. I have another section strictly for entertainment, which would be like date nights with my boyfriend if we go to like the movies or if we go to the aquarium or something like that. Food and drink for any restaurants or fast food, groceries, health and medical, which would be anything from like expenses at the pharmacy to anything like my gym membership or anything like that. Other is also where I put my pet information, any vet medical bills there. I don't like to keep my medical, I don't like to keep my vet and medical together because I feel like they're separate. And then I also have a shopping category, a travel category, transportation, which could be anything from like gas to car maintenance, business expenses, and then also gifts, just because I do like to give gifts throughout the year to my family and friends. So those are all the main categories I do, and I usually dedicate a color to each one of these. And when the pie chart is complete, I will have basically a little wedge here for each one of those categories, depending on how I spent per month. But I'm basically going to just finish setting this up. Obviously, I don't have anything to write down, and I don't really feel comfortable showing you guys anything that would be within my expenses, but this is just kind of a general idea of how you could lay this out if you wanted to do something similar. But because this is kind of still see-through up here, I'm going to add in this adorable washi again, just so it kind of coincides together. And then I'm also going to just write in the different months just on how I want it to be laid out on here. Alrighty, and then I'm going to go ahead and kind of explain what I plan to do for these pages. Again, I'm not really going to set it up per se, just because I do plan on using this in January when the year starts, but this is my intentions for this. So for the priority section up here, I have no idea what I'm going to do with that yet, but for the January, like the monthly sections, I plan on doing a no spending tracker. So I will have, actually I could probably set that up with you guys for this first month. Basically, I'm going to set it up to where it's a dot for if I spend or not. So we'll do 1 through 31. We'll go backwards. And basically, every time that I get a no spend, I will put a dot right underneath the day. So if I don't spend any money that day, we'll say like spend any money on anything shopping related, like nothing that isn't, you know, business, groceries, or bills or anything like that, I will put a dot. So obviously I'm going to have necessary expenses to live and support my family and things like that. But anything like unnecessary spending, I should say, like anything that I basically would consider like a personal expense for just for fun. So with those, I would probably put no dot, like, or put a dot if I didn't spend any money on that day. Like, say I didn't buy stationery someday because I was on a stationery no buy, then I'd put a dot. I hope I'm making sense. But after I do the tracker section of this, I plan on doing like a little bitty summary or a review or reflection of my spending habits that month, because I think something that I struggle with, which I'm sure a lot of people do, is the consumerism of you have to have what's newest, what's next, what's the best next thing kind of situation. And I don't want to be consumed by that. I want to be comfortable with the items that I already have in my home, using what I have, everything like that. So having a brief reflection of maybe I overspent that month and I need to find out why. Like I need to journal about it myself. Like I need to be like, okay, Danielle, why did you do this? Why did you make that purchase? Just be a little bit more intentional with it and reflect on it at the end of the month. And I want to have a space for that. So that's what I was hoping to do with the other section of this little monthly block. For this side, I plan on doing a money in versus money out kind of situation. So I kind of did a little example. This is really elementary, but basically I will use a green pen to mark in any income coming in and a red pen for any money I'm spending out. So I'm going to divide this page in half, or this column in half, basically have half of it being any money coming in and the other half being any money going out. Obviously, if zero comes in or zero goes out, I don't have to put anything in that line. I can just leave it blank or put a dash or something. And then at the bottom, I want to total it out to be total in versus total out, and then find the difference to see if maybe I'm overspending, underspending, or equally like spending. So like overspending would basically be like I'm putting myself back into debt. Underspending would be I'm saving. And then meeting in the middle, or like just equaling out, would basically be like I'm spending everything that I'm earning. Basically, I'm not saving any money at all. And the last section of this little booklet is the monthly section. So this is basically going to be, again, that kind of like nitty gritty bills and deposits, just writing it out more in depth. So I plan on doing this more in terms of like, okay, I received X number of dollars from my job. I received X number of dollars from my mom. Say it was my birthday and she sent me some money. Or I had to deposit X number of dollars for rent. I had to deposit X number of dollars for my utility bill. Basically, I want this to be more of like a breakdown, but not such a breakdown that I'm like going too in depth, but basically labeling out which expenses are going where and on what days, just so I can keep track of my money more on a monthly basis to see what times of the month maybe I have more cash, what times of the month I have less cash. I'm hoping that makes sense. Again, I'm not really going to set this up because I'm not comfortable sharing that kind of financial information with you guys, but that is my intentions with this. I hope you can kind of visualize what I'm saying versus actually seeing it. I know that's kind of difficult and I apologize, but this is, my personal information we're talking about here. So I'm trying to be, a little bit more vague because it's personal to me. After the monthly sections, though, there are 64 blank pages in this little notebook, which I think is fabulous. And this is where I plan on doing my index. So I'll probably do index on this page, and then also package and order logs. So I've actually set up a package and order log, I think, before, but I'll show you guys how I do this. So I basically make a little category or like a little chart. And I feel like everybody has their own kind of way of doing this, but I don't really care about like tracking number on this type of page. I mainly just care about the dates. So I will have a section for the date that I purchased, the shop items or what I ordered from or where I ordered from, the date that it shipped, and then also the date that I received it. And then I also like to have a little column or a page or something for notes in case something happens, because as we all have probably experienced at some point, the postal services in everywhere can have some issues, and it's nice to be a little bit more on top of your stuff if you know something is coming for you or you sent something. Just keeping track of it seems to help in a way. So basically with the package and orders log, like I said, I will have a space for the date that the package was shipped, or the date that I ordered, sorry, the company and whatever items, the date that the package shipped, and then the date received, and then any notes. And that's mainly just so I can have a more visual grasp on, one, how many packages I'm ordering, and two, more of like a way to make sure that I'm keeping track of everything that I have ordered. Because there are times of the year, especially like around this time of the year, honestly, around Christmas, when this video is kind of going up, is everything's coming in all at once. I probably have like 13 packages in transit, and I need to make sure that I'm being accountable of like everything that's getting delivered or not delivered. So it helps me keep track of what I'm missing or if everything has been shipped out and I've received it. And with that, that's pretty much it for the little spending booklet that I do. I will make multiple pages like this for the package and orders log as I go. The reason why I have an index is in case I need to make any notes pages on any tax information or any kind of conversations I have with billing people. I like to have that all written down, who I spoke with, any kind of confirmation numbers, anything like that. So I like to have it all in one book. But that is it for this. So I'll do a quick little flip through of the spending booklet. So opening page, I just wrote down the title page with the Coffee Monsters Co. little washi there. This I plan on using as a little dot tracking space for paydays, bills due, and any kind of taxes I have to submit. For the blank page, I did a savings tracker, so I will color in one of the little emoji heads every time I save a certain amount of money per week throughout the year, and then I will have a total down here at the end. For the goals page, I covered it all up and basically broke it down into 12 sections from January to December. And basically I will do a little pie chart that I will pull from my spreadsheet at the end of the month and color it in just to have a more visual, physical copy of my spending breakdown based on percentage of what I'm spending on, with the different categories being these. You can screenshot if you want to see it. Then for the quarterly pages, I plan on doing this as like a little no spend tracker here with a little monthly reflection. And then for the actual quarterly breakdown, I will have it money in versus money out, green versus red, and then a total with a difference at the bottom to see if I'm going into debt, saving money, or breaking even, just as a more physical way of seeing my money. Then for the monthly pages, I will have a more itemized breakdown of my bills and deposits. So what bill is due and what is being deposited from where, whether it be like from my job, from my mom, from a friend, whatever. That way I have any kind of individual income breaking down where it's coming from, just because I do have multiple sources of income and also have multiple sources of outcome being going towards bills, subscriptions, anything like that. Then for the notes pages, I plan on having this first page being an index of anything from the back. So page 1 is going to be package and orders log, probably number 1, because I usually have a few of these throughout the year. So this basically is where I will write down any kind of package I have ordered, what I ordered, when it was shipped, when I received it, and if I have any notes about the order, just in general for the year's worth of packages. Again, so it is all in one place. And that is pretty much it for this. Alrighty, that is pretty much it for my common planner setup. I know this was a long one, and I mean, it took me a few days actually to finish all of this just because of things that were going on in my life. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I will try to link everything that I can. I know I used a lot of different things and I probably talked way too much in this video, but I hope it was somewhat helpful for you if you're trying to set up your own common planner or if you just needed some ideas from somebody else, because I know I too enjoy watching other people set up and seeing what kind of things that they put in their planners, just because it gives me inspiration too. But if you're interested in any of the other planner setups I have done, I will have a playlist down in the description of all of the ones I have set up so far. And as I set up more of them, I will keep adding to the playlist, so they'll all be in one spot. But yeah, I'll have that in the playlist below, and then I will also put it up in the cards. But again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, for joining me here today. I hope you're having a great holiday season. I hope it's keeping you warm if it's cold where you are. And yeah, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.